What is up, my fellow Star Wars Legends fans? I've been cruising along the internet and I have found some hilarious videos. So, I think all of you will be quite satisfied. I love this guy's channel. Anyway, let's begin. This is gonna be good. Looking kind of dejected there, buddy? Looking kind of sad there, buddy?
What was that? What the fuck was that? Liberals took over Star Wars!
Oh my god.
You fucked the fucking movie. Guys, I am so pissed off right now. I need to destroy something.
Come on, people. Yeah, y'all can't see that this is shit.
This movie sucked ape nuts.
Star Wars The Last Jedi is just awful.
I straight up said to the goddamn screen in the theater, fuck you. Fuck you, movie. Fuck you, ruining this shit. I've never truly hated a Star Wars film, but this movie, I have hated. I hold only burning contempt
You
for
miss
this
Lucas
film.
yet?
You see this? You are a worthless freaking piece of plastic. You're the worst thing I've ever seen in freaking Star Wars. You're the worst character. I hate your face. I hate you.
You gonna do that to Ray?
Garbage. I hope your career dies.
Hey man, you
Where do you
sexist
go from
misogynist.
You fucked this up so bad. Just got back literally like 20 minutes ago from the Last Jedi premiere. Guys, the movie is god awful. Waste of your money, waste of your time, waste of your energy.
Take that, you nobody. Yeah, not explaining your parents.
So you bought the figure just to beat it up.
Yeah. Does anybody else feel like The Last Jedi was a big pile of shit?
I wish Jar Jar Binks would come back as a Sith and just slaughter them all. Bunch of idiots. Star Wars is fucked.
Do not believe Rotten Tomatoes because they are fucking hacked. Do not believe these big YouTubers because they are getting paid by Disney because they will be political correct. You will be going into the movie, wasting your money, wasting your time, and wasting your life.
Fuck this movie, eat my ass. I suck every hair off my balls and choke on them and you lick the sweat off my ass.
Once again, this movie and everyone who had any part in making this.
The Rotten Tomatoes audience score for Star Wars The Last Jedi is 50-something%. These are people's genuine, fresh reactions as they come out of the movie theater. And what are their fresh reactions? This movie sucks dick!
Darren, you're talking about the very...
Oh, no. We're all Nazis if we think this movie sucks, guys. We're all alt-right baby men, according to the Young Turks and all of Disney's shills. We're not legit film critics.
Very disappointing movie that was Star Wars The Last Jedi. Okay, listen.
This poor scrub.
I don't understand. The movie was such a disjointed fucking mess.
I'm gonna cut right to the chase. I fucking hated The Last Jedi.
Did you slide your slithering serpent into the womb of Star Wars?
The characters are just bad. It's not fun. It's boring. It's long. 152 minutes, guys. It's just miserable. When it comes down to it, it's miserable. You can find a lot to do in 2.5 hours that doesn't make you want to gouge your eyes out.
This, is the worst Star Wars movie of all the episodes.
I guess they're just
Bring
all
back
right
a
baby
franchise to
guys.
destroy it.
They're all black.
That's like if you did a new The
Racist.
Turtles movie after part 3, and
Oh wait,
the movie
wait.
starts with
I'm
all
sorry.
the turtles
They're
dying
all
in the
white
first 10
races.
minutes.
They're all right baby
Take
men.
this. I have never seen the last film. Never.
Hey everybody, Ryan Johnson here. Sorry about that, me taking a huge giant dump. I was just too busy shitting all over the Star Wars franchise. Fuck Ryan Johnson, fuck Disney, and more importantly, fuck The Last Jedi. This whole movie is about progressivism. Liberals for Star Wars! And the liberals fucked Star Wars with their slithering serpent. No, they fucked it.
Go screw yourselves, Disney. I hate you. I hate you. Because you are the reason that this is happening. You and Abrams and the writers and the freaking producers of Disney and Lucasfilm, you all suck. I hope you all burn in hell.
We're in an 18-hour protracted chase scene with the Imperials, and there's only one way to save the day, and that's to go to a casino
And free the animals.
and talk about how the animals are in rough shape and like you shouldn't race animals, and we can't even find the guy that we were looking for, so we go with this other guy that's in prison and be like, oh my god, what the fuck? Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Who wrote this?
Where the fuck was I, man? I just lost my fucking mind.
Yeah, bullshit's what I got. By Ryan Johnson. Yeah, Johnson because he's a dickhead. Kathleen Cunty. It's Goofy, Pluto, and Mickey Mouse jerking off over your faces. And they reached over their cots. They got Minnie Mouse to pull down fucking panties, kick a squad, and pissed over DC fucking movies.
It's absolute. It's an awful movie. There's nothing. I don't even have one good fucking thing to say about this movie. It is just rancid diarrhea.
People were saying, well, The Last Jedi, it takes risks. It takes risks. Like, that's all the people who were paid to do reviews for The Last Jedi. They're like, yeah, they're trying to agree with their viewers. Yes, the movie was awful, we know, but they don't want to piss off their sponsors, i.e. Disney. So they say everything. They're like, the movie was weird, but I loved it. But it had a couple of issues, but I loved it. And there were some couple of things that had me dumbfounded, but I loved it. And there were a couple scenes that I didn't think should have been in there, but I loved it.
Very interesting. It seems like we've been talking about this for a while, and now they're just starting to pick up on it. The normies are picking up on it. The casuals are picking up on it. Great.
And there were a bunch of plot holes, but I loved it. And I can't believe they had Princess Leia flying through space, but I loved it. As just admit it. You hate the movie. And you're trying to pander to both your audience of real viewers and moviegoers and the people who pay you to make your fake reviews.
This movie, it makes this movie pointless. Fuck you, Disney.
I honestly feel like I could have wrote a better fucking movie. Like, what the fuck was that?
Well, now we know why Mark Hamill said that he fundamentally disagreed with everything they did.
Oh,
really? Straight G. I understand exactly why you were pissed off. He was at the Star Wars event with
Now
Kathleen
y'all
Kennedy,
listen.
and he says,
Now
they
y'all
don't really
listen.
care
Oh,
about
this is
me.
just gold.
And Kathleen's
This
like,
is
yes, we
comedy
do,
gold.
Mark. Bitch, no, you don't. Kathleen Kennedy is the Zack Snyder of Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy needs to go. This movie is 3 hours of garbage and disappointment. Every minute the movie goes on, you hope. You hope beyond all hopes that what you're seeing is not real. That Disney is going to come out and say, just kidding, we didn't know what we were doing and we wanted to troll you.
They turn this into some progressive California liberalism, woman power, black guy, Asian woman, white woman, just a sweet casserole of humanity. Oh, hugging hands. And it has these different races and colors of people all fucking holding hands. You can just smell the decay of rotten flesh. This waft of shit.
This is what you did to me, Disney and Lucasfilm. This is what you did. I am done with Star Wars.
Star Wars is in trouble. It is in trouble. Ryan Johnson is a hack.
I'll be honest, folks. I saw this movie for free because I didn't want to give these motherfuckers my money after The Force Awakens. The Force hand job that I didn't want. The Force fist fuck up my ass. Because all they did was take the characters in these 3 movies, every single one of them, they flushed them down the toilet, or they pushed them aside, or they turned them into lump of shit.
It was a terrible movie, guys. Whew, it was. I feel like I got freaking punched in the gut. Seriously, the whole time in the movie, I was like, this cannot be happening. I'm in a freaking nightmare right now. Yoda's a recluse, a fucking recluse on Dagobah. Well, Luke is a recluse on a fucking rock. So they've just fucking copied everything. Every fucking plot from Return of the Jedi. Oh, let's just copy and paste it. The millennials are so fucked up. They play Call of Duty. They'll never fucking know. And the other ones who watched it in the 70s, they've all died now, so we can get away with it. Oh!
The best part for me out of the entire movie, is a little kid on the top row yelling,
Yeah!
I mean, they just fucking feminized it. They mixed up the races. The races. Oh, the cross-genderism. Give the lead actor a name of 2 genders, Ray. Oh, liberalism. Oh, God. Oh, I can feel the liberalism. Oh, the dick slithering in and out of fucking Star Wars. Glory hole. Oh, the money tubes are open wide. Oh, it was fucking Star Wars.
Snoke. Why is Snoke a non-character? One of the biggest things they set up in the last Star Wars in The Force Awakens was who the fuck is Snoke? Where did he come from? What is he? What did he do? And in this movie, they just fucking kill him. And nothing has been found out. Who are you?
Fuck you, internet, and your stupid Snoke theories. For every Watch Mojo, bitches, every fucking Screen Rant article, every Collider Jedi Council episode that fucking took hours of people's lives to go on about who is Snoke, who is right. Fuck all of you, because you have wasted your time, my time, millions of people's time. So fuck everyone that sat at a computer screen and went on about, I think Snoke is this person. I think it's Darth Plagueis. I think it's this person. Fuck everybody, because you're all fucking wrong. It was a fucking waste of fucking time.
and then it's Snoke, who's just the Emperor. Snoke is the Emperor, by the way. He's, what's he called? Snoke. That's how fucking bad it is. I don't even know what he's called. So I'm calling him fucking Snoke. Right? He's called Snoke.
Holy shit.
Race training. There is no fucking training. You wankers. So you had a chance to at least make up for the first film when you don't explain how Ray can do all these force powers. Why don't you just fucking show Luke Skywalker, the iconic hero of Star Wars, just training her in battle. How fucking hard is that? That's timeless. From fucking ninjas to cowboys and all that shit. People like seeing a bit of battle, a bit of training. No, lazy wankers.
Again, Rey is this character I just couldn't give a fuck about because she's not real. She doesn't even face any real turmoil or conflict and is seemingly invincible in this universe.
God,
I really
man.
couldn't care less whether she's a female or male, as I could easily root for a character from any walk of life, as long as they fit the lore and buildup of the universe. Justify her powers with some training, and I would have been on board. Have her learn something useful from Luke Skywalker, and I would have been on board. But at every turn, the filmmakers just chose to make her infallible in every way.
So Rey, with no training whatsoever, no interesting backstory to support her power, and no handle on the power she has, is able to defeat Luke Skywalker in combat. You have got to be fucking shitting me.
And let me
All right. That's enough. I think that's enough because, oh man, I could go on. This is just glorious. Wait, hold on. I could. I could go on. This shit is too funny. This is just too hilarious. This, my friends, this is the future that y'all chose. You can say screw this movie all you want, but I'm telling you, it's no one's fault. But the prequel haters, the EU haters, everyone who ever said screw you, George Lucas, this is your comeuppance, and you deserve every last minute of suffering you get. Oh man. I mean, it was just like I didn't have popcorn, but I had something healthy. I had an orange to get me through the first time I saw this video because it was just comedy for me, and I can't believe I didn't come across it sooner because it was just like you guys. Let me just compose myself. Prequel haters. It's all your fault. Okay? You guys bashed George Lucas so much that he was just like, you know what? If people didn't bash the prequels so much, I would have made the sequels by now. But I definitely read that in an article. But your incessant whining was basically what drove him to sell it. He didn't want. You could tell that he didn't really feel like selling it, but because he cared so much about what you guys thought about his franchise and his legacy and whatnot, he sold it to a greedy company that cares nothing about the fans and what they think about the movie, about what they think about the characters. Disney doesn't care about the lore of Star Wars. Disney doesn't care about the backstory of these characters. Disney is seeking to push whatever kind of social justice warrior agenda they want and make some money while doing it. So really, I mean, you have no one to blame except the people, the OT fanboys who were like, "Oh my God, this isn't like episode 5. This isn't just like my childhood." Who the people who wouldn't stop whining about about how it's not like the original trilogy. It's not going to be like the original trilogy, and now you have these Disney rehashes, all right, that just exist to appeal to your nostalgia and not to give you a quality story. All right, they're not there to give you new experiences. They're there just to capitalize on your nostalgia because that's all Disney knows how to do. They don't know how to handle the vast lore of Star Wars, which is why they ditched the EU. This is why they ditched all the backstory, all the books, all the video games that have been in Star Wars for the past 40 or 50 years. I'm sorry, 40 years, 40 plus years of Star Wars. That's what they ditched it for, so they can have creative control and creative flexibility. Bull. They did it because they are lazy and they don't care about Star Wars. And you people are just starting to realize that. You people are just starting to realize what EU fans have been saying ever since the buyout. Ever since then, hardcore EU fans have been against this. Because we knew as soon as they started saying, "Well, could the old EU remain canon?" We knew these dumb, lazy cusses were thinking about trying to get rid of 30 plus years of Star Wars history and replace it with their own crappy, watered down version of it. And that's exactly what you guys are getting. This is exactly what you guys are getting. You guys aren't getting people who really care about Star Wars or the history or the lore or whatever. You guys don't have people like that running the show. Now you have Miss Kathleen Kennedy. You're stuck with her. You're stuck with her. And for everyone who decried George Lucas, you deserve every moment of suffering you can get. I hope you regret it every second, knowing that it was you. And you and people like you bashing George Lucas for showing parts of his story that he wanted to show, for using CGI, even though the these new Disney sequels use CGI just as well, almost as much. I'm guessing the Porgs weren't CGI, right? I mean, the Porgs and they use CGI, so it's not like that was gonna stop, like magically improve the quality of a movie if they didn't use CGI. It was just the things people were complaining about with the prequels, and you know what? I'm glad that it's coming full circle now. When I was talking to my friend saying, "Yo, like this is gonna be a disaster," Disney owning Star Wars, this is gonna be a disaster. All right. And them getting rid of the EU, as soon as they got rid of the EU, I was done. I was done. I did not want anything to do with Disney's new Star Wars canon. I was done. And now that I'm seeing all the the weeping and moaning and gnashing of teeth coming from these Star Wars casuals, well, for the most part, I'll call them casuals, because if you have not read a single Legends or Star Wars Expanded Universe book, I consider you a Star Wars casual. All right, if you have not immersed yourself at all, if you're not around for Splinter of the Mind's Eye to Fate of the Jedi, you're a casual to me. All right, you're a Johnny come lately and a casual, and and people who claim to be hardcore fans but haven't even heard of Thrawn or any of these EU characters before, or books before the buyout. You're a casual. All right, and you're part of the problem. You're probably the same people who whined incessantly about George Lucas doing something new with the prequels. And I'm an ardent prequel defender. I will scream it from the rooftops. I love the prequels. I love them. They're they were always going to be a part of George Lucas's story. He said it over and over again. I don't know what you guys expected. You know, he was going to show the life of Anakin Skywalker in the prequel. So he always said it. He always said, if I'm going to do a prequel trilogy, I'm going to do the life of Anakin Skywalker. And now we'll never see on the big screen Ben Skywalker, Mara Jade Skywalker, real developed, fleshed out characters, and not these cardboard SJW stereotypes. All right, designed just to please feminists and whatever fringe group out there. No, they're not designed to please Star Wars fans. All right, who have been around for 40 plus years, just reading the books, following the material, following everything. You know, just to have that erased by Disney. And I'm glad to see that the sales are slumping in every department. And I'm just glad to see finally everyone is realizing what we've been saying for years, for the past few years anyway. You brought it upon yourself, and you know what? Ever since episode 1 came out, because I loved episode 1. When episode 1 came out, people were all the original trilogy fans were whining and complaining. Oh my God, it's too kiddie and blah blah blah. I was a kid. We were all kids once. You know, I was a kid when episode 1 came out. And I enjoyed it because, you know, it opened up, you know, a bigger world for me. The adventures were larger in scale. The battles were huge. And it was just extremely well put together for me. You know, it introduced the backstory of Palpatine. We got to see a young Palpatine, a young Obi-Wan, you know, and we got to see these characters develop. You know, when episode 2 came out, it wasn't that great, but you know what? I was just like, you know, it had upsides, but it still wasn't. It was not the greatest Star Wars movie I've ever seen, and even when it came out, I said, yo, this is cheesy. Episode 2 is cheesy, but then I knew that when episode 3 came out, it would be the most baller episode ever, and it was. Episode 3 will always be my favorite Star Wars episode. Just everything you wanted to see before the prequel trilogy came out was there. And people still found a way to whine and bitch about it. And it just pisses me off that this is the result of it. This is the result of all your whining and your incessant crying. Oh, George Lucas didn't do this. George Lucas didn't appeal to my childhood. This is the result. All right, you get screwed over, and the franchise you claim to love is dying. And we unless you fight hard, you know, you might not get it back. You know, it's very simple. The Star Wars EU was 10 times better, and they got rid of it. And now you're stuck with with the watered down trash that is Disney Wars. I'm a mixture of happy and angry, and a little bit of sadness because you know, I grew up with this stuff, man, and you know, to see Star Wars sort of taken down like this is just like it's just heartbreaking to me, you know, because that was. And what's even more heartbreaking is that George Lucas just had enough of all your whining, and he just was tired and just was like, you know what, just let it be someone else's problem. And now it is. Now it's Disney's problem, and I don't know what else to say. I mean, do you miss Lucas yet? Do you miss Lucas yet? I mean, because you should. If it wasn't for Lucas's creative genius, his art of storytelling, we would not have this franchise. And you guys, whoever whined about the prequels or whined about this in my childhood, you contributed to this mess that we're in right now. You contributed to it. So you can prequel bash all you want. It's still not worse than this garbage you have now. Just saying. Alright, yeah, well, I guess that's enough of my rant for now, but you guys get the point. With Lucas at the helm, everything was great, and now everything sucks. Well, it's your boy Kos. Birthday's coming up. But, yeah, thanks for sitting through this video. Just me having a good time, having a ball, and slowly dying inside from the realization that I may never see Star Wars the same way ever again. But fight on, guys. I mean, you know, hey, wherever you can, promote Star Wars Legends. Should have a few more videos coming up. I'll see you then. Peace.